All right, we're live with Trent Cowie on the Country versus Metal podcast. What is going on, man?
Man, I'm living the dream. I'm stoked to be here. It's finally great to talk to you, man.
Yeah, I'm excited because you got a lot of stuff going on, and you got a new record coming out, and the first two songs sound great.
Man, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're it's the first one. It's #1 debut record. So I'm really excited to get it out into the ether and have everybody hear it, man.
So did somebody approach you? Because I know you have some backers to help you out with this, right?
Man, so yeah, I actually have very, very good friends that are helping me out. Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company has, we developed a merch clothing line. And that's actually the cowboy hat I'm wearing is their company. But they kind of helped me design a line of merchandise that I can help fund the record. And so all that's on their website, cowboyrevolutionapparelcompany.com. It's actually cowboyrevolution.com. But, man, all the proceeds from that merch line go towards the record, and we were able to pay it off, and we're cooking, man. We're ready for people to hear these songs now. So I'm really excited about it. Also had some people just kind of reach out to me like, hey man, you need to get your music out there. Here's $100 or whatever. I'm like, dude, that's wild to me. Like I just still to this day don't know how to feel about that, but it's a super blessing to have people support me. So
yeah, dude, a lot of people feel weird about crowd the GoFundMe, the record, but man, like rich people that have all the money in the world, they take on investors. They don't just buy a company outright. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it as. And some people, like, they don't have any musical abilities, but they love it, and they get to feel part of it. I know that I've had people take me in the back and be like, you're going to take this. We love what you're doing. We want to hear more music. And it is crazy because, like, you will sit there and be like, how can you show people how much you appreciate? And
right.
And I just feel like
it's tough, man, because you're like, man, from a different spot, maybe somebody is a little bit better off than you, and like I'm a starving musician, but it's like, man, you can't really measure that, like you can't put that in a bottle and be like, here, this is what I want to give you for you doing this for me. Like that feeling is hard to comprehend sometimes of just, absolute gratitude of like, man, I really want to pay this dude back or whatever. And people in the back of their mind are like, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to, so it's a blessing, dude. And I think that's these days more than ever. I feel like people like that are what's going to keep the music industry alive. People that are really willing to go out on a limb for people they believe in, and because like you don't have the record labels anymore, really. I mean, you do, they're obviously still a thing, but like, for independent artists, dude, like that kind of support is crucial, especially in the earlier days of careers, so.
Yeah. And it keeps you independent. Like you said, there's not somebody tapping you on the shoulder and go, nah, sing it like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I love having free range with my creativity.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to butcher the song name. Was it Checking Boxes, Crossing Lines?
Yeah, that's it.
The guitar, that atmosphere, that soundscape, that guitar, I love that sound. And it goes so well with that song. It's just like, like a Pink Floyd, like, welcome to the machine. Just, I love, like, I just love that sound. As simple as that.
I love it, dude. That was Josh Serrato. He played guitar on the record. I was actually up at Melody Mountain Studios. He's done all of our music. It's funny. I was listening to your episode with Kanan the other day, and he was talking about Josh. And dude, he's cutting some music up there too. So Kanan knows about Melody Mountain Studios, and a lot of people do, man. Like Giovanni and the Hired Guns done some stuff out there. Jacob Stelly, all those guys. But man, we were sitting in there producing that song. Or he was producing that song. We were recording it, and he pulls up this effect on his guitar. Dude, he's a wizard. I don't even know what he was doing. It was like magic in front of me. But it's called the crystallizer, and that was that sound you're hearing. Yeah, so it's kind of got like that cool deal. And I'm like, man, I love that. He's like, dude, that's kind of funky. And I was like, yeah, bro, that's sick. Let's go with it. But I love the guitars on the record, man. I love it. I love how it turned out, that song specifically.
Yeah, dude. And like, I saw him comment on the video, and he goes, "Thanks for the love." And I click on it, and I'm like, "Oh, he follows me," and I'm like, my brain just went, zzz, and I was like, I talked about him with Kanan, and I was like, I didn't know who he was. Then I Google him. I'm like, dude, he plays with Kel.
Yeah, bro.
I'm like, oh my god, and I'm seeing those guys this Saturday, so I definitely want to meet them, and because I've hung out with Mason, and I've seen Otis. I never talked to him. He was with his family, and I don't like approaching people when they're with their family, with with how busy they are. But yeah, dude, I love that sound. I'm definitely gonna ask him, like, what do you do for that? But yeah, and then I go on Instagram. He's following me on Instagram. I'm like, man, I gotta start, like, what's it, Casey Donahue. People were tagging him, and I was like, oh, he's on TikTok. And I follow back. I'm like, great, he follows me. I'm like, but yeah, like talking to Kanan, and like, that's cool. Like you guys all get to work and do stuff like that. It's really cool. Like how everybody seems to know and help each other, and everyone's like super multi-talented. Like, like,
Yeah.
there's just so many people. Like, not only am I the guitar player in this band, I also produce and do this, and it's really cool because sometimes you have to come off the road to do things and have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't sing like yourself. You know what I mean? Like, the band's your name. You can do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, as a guitar player, you gotta show your worth. Because like, guitar players are a dime a dozen. That's one of the reasons I never like really jumped in, just because they, like I say, like. But then again, there is a culture of people, like, when they go to see a band, they want to see the band, that band they fell in love with. They don't want to see no substitutions and everything. So, how did you put together this band? Because I know you got Jackson from.
All Jackson, dude. All J Dog, man. Yeah, man. We actually. I had the same band since day one until about a year ago. My lead guitarist, him and my old drummer bought a tour bus, and they started a touring company, Texona Touring. And so they were like, man, we're just gonna get off the road and we're gonna do that. And I was like, man, that's cool, that's great, that's an awesome opportunity. And we'd been talking about it for a while. And matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I was their first paying customer, which was cool, so you always got to support your boys. But man, so they went off to do that, and we linked up with Jackson. We actually had him out to the birthday jam, a show that we were playing last year, was the guy's last show, and we met there, and we had met time and time before that, just kind of in passing. And dude, the guy's got chops, man. 16 years old, plays the heck out of the drums, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool to bring this guy in and kind of take him under our wing, and because ultimately I was in a pickle. I was like, dude, we need to keep this train going, and Jackson was ready to play within like a weekend. So I was like, this is cool, and it just kind of happened that way. And of course Jamie came on, and he's helping a lot with kind of the road manager stuff. Make sure we get home, make sure we get to the hotel and stuff. But yeah, man, Jake, my bass player, he's been with me since day one. He's my right hand man. He's my, music director. Everything we do for the set list and kind of even creating music together, we kind of do that. And then Ryan Eigler, he plays guitar for me now. And yeah, dude, it's just a random selection of great dudes, and it's really cool how I'm just blessed to be in the mix.
Yeah, and that is cool. Like, do you ever run into any problems with him being as young as he is?
Dude, that was the first question on my like my mind whenever he was like, dude, I'm looking for a gig. I was like, bro, you're 16. There's got to be some liability here. But dude, no, everybody's been really cool and like really excited about the fact that he's so young doing it. Man, he's up for Drummer of the Year this year for the TCMAs.
Yeah, the Texas Awards. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so like I don't know. Every time we go to a show and load in, his dad's with us too. So it's kind of like, all right, he's in Texas. They're pretty lax with like the bars and stuff. Like if your parents with you, you can be there, kind of thing. But it's definitely was definitely a main concern of mine. But everybody's been really cool. So far so good.
That's good because I do love watching him play, like on his videos and everything. Sometimes he goes live, and yeah, he's like you said, he's got chops.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely been really fun the past almost year. Almost been playing with me for a year now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We got a huge show coming up August 31st in 2 weeks. I'm really excited for him to play that because it's like the rowdiest crowd, like the biggest, rowdiest crowd it's a hometown show. I've been doing it this will be my 7th year doing the show. It's my annual birthday jam. So like, it's cool because like, he's so young and I've been able to put him on some really big stages and really cool tickets and bills. And I think that's what is really exciting to me is like, it's like my little brother, like help him out, So, yeah, dude, it's cool, man. It's definitely cool.
Now, would you consider yourself like red dirt country or?
Man, to me, I think red dirt's from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The real red dirt stuff's from Oklahoma. So I don't consider myself red dirt. I consider myself Texas country with a taste of rock and roll. Like Texas country rock, if you have to put a label on it. But
yeah.
I've always liked like Cody Johnson. I've always got that reference. Like your vocals kind of sound like Cody Johnson. I'm like, well, that's really cool. But I would rather sound like, like rock, like Whiskey Myers or something. So like I always say if like Cody Johnson and Whiskey Myers were blended together, that's somehow what we sound like. But nice. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's kind of how I feel about it. It's all subjective.
So do you have a heavy metal background as well? Because I've seen on your videos you're playing like One and
oh yeah, dude. So man, that's actually my band. So Jake used to play. Jake Taylor, my bass player, used to play in a Pantera cover band when he was like 14. So he started out really young too. He was playing in these bars with his dad. His dad's a vocalist, like sings like crazy high pitched, like great, awesome, like Van Halen stuff, and like Pantera, like heavy. Dude, he was telling me one time that he was going to homecoming. And he went to homecoming and then he had to go to a gig. So he went to the bathroom of the venue and changed out of his tuxedo to play the gig on stage with his dad after homecoming. So all that stuff kind of comes from them. And then Ryan, of course, is a huge Dimebag fan. And I am too. I was not as invested in it as they are. So I appreciate it, but I let them talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of the country guy. So it's more of like a healthy mix. But yeah, dude, we broke out that one at a cook-off show, and dude, that was totally like improv, and it was crazy because people were at a country show and we had them headbanging and jumping up and down, and it was the coolest thing ever. So we like kind of started to like play into that a little bit, which is fun because it just like gives somebody like they don't expect it, right?
Yeah,
it's like you go to a country song or a country show and you hear a freaking Metallica song or a Pantera song or a whatever we do, we throw some stuff in there, but
yeah, that's what we used to do. Man, I can't think. We would do Eye of the Beholder, and then the band would stop, and man, I can't even remember what song we used to do. There's something else, but it was country, and people would be like, all the guys that brought their girlfriends there thought they weren't going to hear anything. They get all excited, and then you stop, and then they're like, "What's going on, man? Play the whole song,
finish it, dude." Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm always like Cowboys from Hell. I'll start playing the riff, and everyone gets excited, and I'll just stop. And they're like, "Oh,
yeah."
But
what a tease, man.
yeah. It's best because I have a Dean from Hell, and when people see that, they get excited. And then the last band I was with, some of the songs, like people would be like, "You can't play that on that." It's like, hey,
you can.
I wouldn't advise it. But
that's awesome, man. So you did the metal thing. You did the metal rock and roll thing for a while. I mean, that's how you started.
Yeah, I started doing that, dude. I was in like a Metallica tribute band when I was like 13. We played. There wasn't a song we didn't know front to back, and then there was a band called Silverchair that came out.
Silverchair.
They were like 15. They were like kind of our age, and they were winning contests and all over the radio. And they played in drop D, and it was really easy to play. And it was like, then we got made fun of like a lot.
The stigma.
Just
play drop D. Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy, it's fun, and it's heavy. And like, yeah. And then the same guys, they started a country band, and I managed them for a while. And then I actually started playing with them. And it was funny. It was like, this is before I heard like Cody Parks and the Dirty South. We used to call it country metal because like people would ask, they would be like, dude, I've never seen anybody play country like that. And I said, when I'm up here, I'm playing for like Lamb of God. I'm not playing. I said, I'm playing the way they should play it. But yeah, it's funny. It's like, I remember listening to the originals being like, oh, just wasn't for me. Like all that, the pop country stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny is I went to a show the other day, and it was these two girls. They're 13, 14, and they came with us, and they'd never been to a concert before. And I said, do you like country music? And they were like, no, because we obviously don't drink. We don't like trucks. And you know, like we don't like songs about drinking, dogs, beer, and trucks. And I said, listen, it was Lance Rourke and Muscadine Bloodline. I said,
oh yeah,
this is totally different. I said, this is something that you'll go, there's no way you can call this country. And that's the same way I feel about like Texas country and what you guys are doing, because like you listen to it and you're like, what? This is considered country? And I'm like, yeah, like there's still people out there doing it that are great, and now they've added an edge to it, you know, like where you still jam out, you can still have the cool guitars in the back. It's not all, you know, like E A D C G, you know, and then the next song's the same chords, you just move the capo up, and
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's variety, and like getting to meet the people as well is, you know, no one's just shrugged their shoulders at me like, you know who I am, you know, like I got stuff, you know, it's all, and I see it do it with everybody, and you know what I mean, like it's really cool. That's why I like doing these, because people get to see, you know, like Trent Cowie he's a very good musician and he's a cool guy.
Man, it's insane to me, because you kind of talked about it earlier, how everybody kind of knows each other in Texas, and like I really think the Texas music scene has a lot to do with kind of the turnaround of that expectation. It's like, oh, there's such a big umbrella with whatever you call it. Like, yeah, technically I guess it's all country, but I mean, Co Wetzel's not necessarily country. I mean, he's rock, you know, but he's still in that Texas country vein. And then you have, you know, like your Turnpikes or your Mike and the Moon Pies or Silverado. Those guys are more country. Then you got like, you know, your Randall King. There's just so many different mini subgenres underneath the Texas deal, and it's really cool because there's something for everybody here. There's something for everybody that wants to find it, and you gotta give it a chance because it's so vast. Yeah. And everybody that's like, you know, in the run-ins with all those guys that I mentioned, like they're so cool. I mean, everybody's like, man, we're just gonna keep this thing going, and like everybody knows each other, and everybody wants to play on each other's records, and everybody wants to book the shows, and it's just cool, man. I really feel like it's a great ecosystem of professionalism and just like camaraderie in Texas right now. And for me too, like I'm seeing a lot of it firsthand, because I don't think I've ever been this far, you know, in my career. Like I think this is kind of where I'm getting to, is like people are starting to hear about me, and it's really cool that people are starting to, you know, reach out their hand to me, even just as a fellow artist, you know. You know, like like an example of that was like my buddy Carson Jeffrey. He like had 2 shows and he totally put me on both of them. He was like, "Hey man, you want to come out and open these shows?" I was like, I didn't deserve that. I didn't, I like, it was so cool because it was just he like extended an olive branch and we got to hang out. And that's the kind of stuff it is, man. People are cool. People are cool down here and I'm really loving it, dude. So I don't know. Went off on a rant, but a positive one.
Yeah, dude, Texas, it's such a close-knit family of musicians with also so much distance apart. Because a lot of bands like to tell me, like, yeah, well, my bassist, he lives 4 hours away, and the other guy lives 2.5. And I'm like, what? Like, I was like, what? Y'all meet up for a bus call and go do your thing, and it's crazy.
From here to Lubbock, Texas, from where I live, because I'm like north of Houston, like 45 miles north of Houston. So I'm southeast, but like from my house to Lubbock is like 7.5 hours, and you still have like another 2 hours before you even leave the state.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can drive 8 to 9 hours in the state of Texas and still be in Texas, and that's what people don't realize sometimes. It's like, holy crap! The same distance between Beaumont and El Paso, if you were to basically flip it, you could go from Texas to California in that same amount of distance.
That's nuts.
Which is wild.
Yeah, like I can leave my house, drive for 10 minutes, and drive through 3 states. I mean, granted, they all meet together, but yeah, it's funny sometimes when I talk to people from Texas that have never been up here, and they're like, huh. They're like, literally, like, some of them, like the first ones that never been up, they're like, I've never driven through a state before. And that's wild to me, like,
dude.
So, like, think about it. Like, some people in Texas have never driven through another state.
My bass player Jake, dude, we used to make fun of him all the time. We finally did our first show in Arkansas with Chad Cook Band, dude. They invited us out there. I love those guys. They're from where I'm at too. But anyways, we're making fun of Jake because he was like, "Man, I've never driven through this state. Are we gonna drive through like Oklahoma?" And I'm like, "Bro, you are 27 years old and you've never driven through." Like, but it was just funny because like that's the reality of it. It's like some people don't. You're right, absolutely.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, like once I was talking to Kane and he was like, "How far are you away from here?" And I'm like, and he goes, I just keep thinking it's all one big state up there. I'm like, no. But it is funny. And it is, I do like when they're like, man, never been up here, never been up north. And I don't really think of it like that. But yeah.
Where are you at again? You're in...
I'm in Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
A lot of people know us from Wayne's World.
You ever listen to City and Color, dude?
City and Color, no.
Dallas Green?
Dallas Green, why that sounds...
He's got a song called Hello, I'm in Delaware, and it's phenomenal.
Huh.
You gotta look him up, dude. It's one of my favorite songs. It's like an angsty emo kind of song, but I don't know. It's not like emo. It's like, I don't even know what to classify it as, and I don't want to mess that up, but it's good. Like, it's good. And every time somebody says like Delaware or whatever, I think of that song. It just starts playing in my head. But yeah, I've never been up there, dude. I think the furthest north I've been.
Somebody call your phone or something?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. And we're back, hopefully.
Dude, this is the craziest thing for me. I'm so like, I am technologically advanced, but so far behind on all this podcast stuff. The Riverside, first time using this app. I put my stuff on Do Not Disturb earlier, and then I guess I was messing with the camera or whatever, and here we are.
Yeah, well, so did I, and I'm sure you heard that text message go through. I'm like, what? And it's somebody who shouldn't be texting me. I'm like, dude, whatever. But I was like, so I'm trying to think. I was going to ask you something. You were saying, like, what's the farthest north you've ever been?
Yeah, Chicago, man. That was it. So I've been to Chicago and I've been to Pennsylvania, and that's like the most north east I've been, and like I've been to Arkansas, I've been to California. Like I've basically been like everywhere left and right but south, pretty much. Like I've never been up to like North Dakota or anything like that. Like I want to go experience the true North.
Yeah.
You know?
Where are you at in Pennsylvania?
We were out by Pittsburgh. We were like 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. I got some family out there, which was nice because I got to do a show for them, which they hadn't. I don't think they ever have seen me play or perform, and that was really cool to go out there with a bunch of family and hang out with them. But then they also had like a huge party, so I got to get on the radio out there and was did a show basically out there, and it was really cool. But that's pretty much Pittsburgh. We went to a Steelers or a Pirates game. That was cool. PNC Park. It's pretty fun. But,
yeah, I've only been to Pittsburgh once. It was for the St. Patrick's Day parade. It was crazy. It was a long time ago. I'm like, hey, I got Polaroids of that. Probably shouldn't. But
that's cool though. Polaroids are cool, man.
yeah, people. It's weird how just stuff has progressed so fast, especially in like recording and everything, and like what we're doing now. Like, somebody 100 years ago just like appeared to be like, they're talking back. They would probably break it. In fear.
They'd be like, what the heck? It's like when people used to talk about that, like back in the day, they didn't like mirrors were not a thing. So like, could you imagine living your whole life without even seeing the reflection of yourself, like in a mirror? Like I'm talking like, 1800s, like dude, like people didn't have mirrors if they lived in a rural landscape. Like think about that. And then you have somebody from 100 years ago come to now and see somebody talking on a phone. Like that would be insane. Probably like combust, like somebody would just explode. Like that's crazy to think about how far we've come in a society in such a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Like, wild.
Yeah, that's like I grew up next to the Amish, and they would have worldly possessions, and I would put movies and music on there. They would have like really cheap tablets, and I just remember one of the kids coming up and he goes, I want some of that Tupac. And I was like, how have you heard Tupac? Because what he got for Christmas, because I remember asking what he got for Christmas, he goes, I didn't get nothing, but my parents got me a blanket from a horse to give to my horse, so they gave him a present to give to his horse. I was like, all right. I'm thinking like that, hey, man, that's your world. I'm like, man, Rumspringer could not come fast enough.
Like it wasn't even a gift from me; it was a gift from me to my horse. Bro.
Yeah, he probably put it on him. The horse probably bit him. He's like, this is terrible Christmas.
He's out there horsing around with his birthday gift. No, what does that say about Tupac's marketing, bro? He's a legend. If the Amish is they're hearing about him, dude. Like that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like sometimes, like I'll randomly break out in the song. I can't imagine them doing that around the community. What did you just say,
man? And that's always so interesting, man. I've always wondered about like real life Amish, like, cause that's a big thing up there, right? I mean, that's like, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Never seen it, dude. It's crazy.
I was kind of dating a girl, typical, like, was that high school or whatever. And I remember asking her, I said, why do you always wear a hat? And she was like, 'cause of my religion. And she goes, you never wondered why I wear like the same outfit? I'm like, no. She wasn't Amish. She was a Mennonite, which is close. But I was like, what? I was like, okay. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, like where I grew up is there's like, whenever you can hear, they all go to church, and like those kids drive those carts, man. It's nuts.
Right.
But my one friend he's actually the whole Rumspringer experience. He's actually a country music artist. He at first he was doing rap, and he like pimped out his carriage, his cart, like, and like he like didn't. I guess he was like Ricky Bobby. He didn't know what to do with his hands, and the whole video, and it's.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this video, man. I gotta see it.
He actually put on a country music festival. It was River Hills, but yeah, and I remember asking him. I put it all. It was like $5,000, big stage, the whole shebang. The sound guys, and they had VIP, like trailers. I'm like, what? This is all $5,000. I'm like, we should do this every month.
There's got to be things that those guys know that we don't. That we just have got so far out on everything else in society. Yeah. That we're just missing out on some key elements that they are like, yep, nothing's changed over here, man. We got it on lock. Yeah. Like, dude, I mean, I feel like society will eventually go back to that. Like, dude, because we're making technology that's smarter than us. How the heck are we going to, you know what I mean? Like,
are we talking about Skynet?
I don't know what we're talking about, man. The gov's listening. I don't know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, but you know what I'm saying though? Like, there's got to be such sweet solace in that lifestyle. Like,
they're immortal.
And it's just that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, I was like using AI the other day, and I got really scared, dude. I was like, dude, this is so wild that this technology can literally write me a whole code website. Like, do all these things, and it's really cool. Don't get me wrong, but there's got to be some type of guidelines set in place for that kind of stuff, man. It is getting crazy. This stuff, because you've seen all this stuff about like the the fake videos and like the deep fakes and all that. I feel like we're gonna see a whole lot more of that stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, that's scary. Like, can you like? If my computer became self-aware, it would blackmail me. Like, yeah. I knew what you Googled the other day. Like, oh no,
you can't spell that word. I'm gonna tell everybody. Like,
but dude, ChatGPT. Like, you can put in like what I use it for a lot is I want to have this for dinner. This you put your dinners in, and it'll give you every ingredient you need to buy at the store. It's phenomenal. Like,
that's cool. I mean, that's very useful because
if you know how to ask it, and it's always something different or something new. And a lot of these questions are from GPT that I have in front of me, which I seem like I never ask, but like it'll write like fake stories for you. Like, I remember being like, describe Midnight River Choir's sound to me. And it gave a great description, and I did like a screenshot, and there's Midnight River Choir. They were like, "Dude, we're using that. That's amazing." I was like, "Hey, you're welcome," because they were like, "That's wild." It'll write a song for you.
Yeah, no, I've seen the videos. Like they are using them to write country songs and rap songs, and then there's even like AI generated Drake. Have you heard that song? It was like the first one that really went around. It was like a Drake song, but it was AI and it sounded just like him and all this crazy stuff. I'm like, man, that's what I'm saying, man. There needs to be guidelines because people are going to start ripping all that stuff.
Yeah. And
it's not going to be authentic at that point. And that to me is like a huge threat to art in general. Like, but I think the technology is very useful. So it's like a way of mitigating how we operate it properly. And then, because I'm never going to use a song to write, or I'm never going to use AI to write a song. I'm not going to do that because that's goes against everything I believe in. But I really think AI is cool. It's just a little scary sometimes.
Yeah. When you are writing a song, like what kind of like inspiration, like is it like past experiences or what gets you in the mood to write?
Man, I don't know. Like with checking boxes, crossing lines, it was kind of funny. Like I always laugh when I tell this story because people think that I say this as a bit, like a joke. But the song literally was inspired by a $25 cheeseburger, and I was on a lunch break and I went to this place, you know, a really well known place to get a burger, and I went through the line and they're like, yeah, a double patty with add bacon is going to be 25 and some change. And I'm like, what? You're kidding me, dude. This is a hamburger joint and it's just me.
Yeah.
It's not like I have like me and my girlfriend. It's like literally just me spending $25 with fries and a drink. And so I was like, man, this is crazy. Like I never thought I'd be so fed up with paying $25 for a cheeseburger. But so that like ultimately that sparked an idea in my head that was like, the way home, I kind of came up with this line called, it was just like, man, I've been trying hard just to get along, like in general. And I feel like everybody kind of feels that way right now, you know, in some way, shape or form, everybody's like kind of fed up with just, you know, stuff. And I don't know. So yeah, to answer your question, man, it's like probably from a place that I've been before, past experiences or, because I really think that's what music is. Like songwriting to me is an outlet. It's emotional. I think it should be from the heart. You know, I think you should write something you believe. So that's where a lot of it comes from. And honestly, I just don't ever have a lot of fun writing for a hook. Like if I, you know, like I don't want to write a number one song. I would love to write a number one song, but I don't want to sit down and try to write a number one song, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to write something that I've been through or somebody, maybe it's me interpreting something that somebody else has been through. And that I've done that a lot recently. And just like, you know, like I've never cheated on anybody, but like a cheating song is kind of cool, you know? So I'll dive into that. Like I'll do that sometimes, but yeah, man, just for the sake of emotion is why I write and how I write.
Yeah. And dude, I was talking to Mason from Mason and the Gin Line, and I was like you said, like I've never cheated on anybody, but you can write a song about it. Now, when you're singing it and you're into it, like people will like think you're that character in that song. You know what I mean? Like, and I was asking him because he had a song where he goes, now that's not entirely true, but you know, and I'm like, well, how do you make sure your fans know, you know, like you're not that character, especially like if you don't have like a spot where you can just be like, oh, by the way, you know, I ain't this guy, you know, like, but
man, it's all subjective and it's like all opinion based. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't like people are gonna think what they think of your art, and that's fine, dude. Like that, I was actually having this conversation with my mom the other day because I don't know if you have a chance to check out the music video for Checking Boxes, Crossing Lines, but it was such a fun video. I'm literally the guy that goes in there, and I won't give too much away, but I literally go in there with a gun and I rob this place. And my mom saw the video and she's like, yeah, I love that song, but like, I don't think you're sending the right message. And I'm like, Mom, art is subjective. I would never go in and rob a store. I would never go in and do that. That's not who I am, but that's the art. Like that is, so to your point, like people really sometimes think that, like, you know, that you are what you're portraying, but ultimately I feel like artists, songwriters are just conduits for experiences in general. And I think people, you know, I think that's important to have somebody maybe write something that you can't, maybe you can't talk about. Like, you know, somebody might be feeling some type of way and they use music to get through those feelings, or, you know what I mean? Like if people are going to think it like that either way, so you might as well just do what you got to do.
And like, they'll even think that way while they're talking to you, while you're like, no, that song is not about that.
Right.
And they'd be like, well, how do you know? And you'd be like, I wrote it.
I literally wrote it.
And they're like, nah, man, I see right through you. We had a song that kind of had people, it was legit written to be cool to listen to on a Harley. That was the process. And I went online. I'm like, oh, how's this doing? And I see people they like politicized it, and I was like, that song is not about anything like that. And they're like, well, how do you know? I'm like, did you see my username? And they're like, nah, man, it's cool. Nah, well, I'll tell you what, this is what it means. I'm like, you can't tell me. I was there. I was in the room. It's just so somebody could enjoy themselves on a Harley. There's no secret message. And it's just weird. It's just, you can't convince somebody, even that,
Yeah. Did you, so you wrote lyrics too, or do you just write music, or?
I've written songs. I have a lot of ideas with songs, but I want to write with my buddy he co-wrote one song. He's the drummer in my band. It's double platinum.
Wow.
It has opened, he quit his job. His BMI
dude.
His BMI checks are big check. I call him every quarter. I'm like, what's your BMI tag? And he's like, get ready for this. And I'm like, it's this song. It is on fire. And like, yeah, he got a deal with one of the labels, but like he came over the other day and we were sitting there, and like everybody always passed up on him, at just being a drummer. But it turns out like that whole outlaw country, it really helps when you grew up and you did all that outlaw stuff. And for him, it's just like he's like, glad I had a troubled youth because my autobiography is making bank. And we're sitting there writing, and he was kind of like, how come you don't ever like speak up and write? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I did the last time I went on a writing session in Nashville, I did throw a couple lines in and everything. And I don't like, dude, I have like a whole album of music already done. Just, I don't want to sing on it. And all somebody would have to do is just go and sing. But it's crazy. Once like the whole TikTok thing got going and I got all like friends in the industry, I'm friends with people that are idols to some of my friends that are musicians, and I can't get them to come over to my house. It's so frustrating. Like, I so want to play a show. I can't. And I was almost to the point where I was going to go on Facebook and be like, listen, I will fly to Texas. I don't care if it's for a song. I want to be on stage, and I can't find anybody that wants to do that here. And it's like a acoustic, I could probably go, but I don't want to play acoustic. That was COVID. That was terrible.
Yeah.
No. No. I get it. For like a listening room, it's great where the artist can really sit and tell the story behind the song and you get to know the artist. And I really think you can really feel the song a lot more when it's just the guy and his acoustic.
Yeah.
But man, like, I want to jam. Like,
yeah.
I'm all acoustic up. I want to hear the Trent Cowie band, full band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no better energy than that, and I love it. Like,
we were talking about, we were talking about that the other day. Like, what do you think is more? What do you think is better, like the song or the performance? Like, what do you think matters more? You know what I mean? Like, because to you it could be interchangeable, like it is for me. Like, whenever I'm sitting there listening to a dude, just him and his guitar, and he's telling a story behind the song, like you just said, I think that can be very impactful, very powerful. Yeah. But going to see like him with his band or whoever this person we're talking about is, like going to see that dude with this band at a sold out show in your front row, and it's just big lights, smoke, loud, crazy people just having the time of their life.
Yeah,
that could be very impactful too. So like, what do you think what do you think? It's like the chicken or the egg, man. Like, what are your thoughts?
Front row with Matt Westerman.
Okay.
Dude, I saw Lance Rourke for the first time, and it was acoustic, and he had Zach on the pedal steel. Great show. I saw him the other day, full band, and it was a mind-blowing experience because, like, you know, like, if your guitar player is getting at it and everyone's just feeding off of everybody, and it's an energy. And I've talked to people before, and I just remember them telling me, I don't fully love a band until I fall in love with them live. And I never really understood that until it happened to me. And I was like, that, when all your arm hairs stick up and that tingle, you're like, that's why. And some people are absolutely, that's like their drive. Just going to shows, the show, and being there early, staying there late to get to know the artist. And it's just, I just love that too.
Yeah. No, dude, I went to, there's a place called Whitewater Amphitheater in New Braunfels that is super sick. It's all outdoor. It's literally the river goes right behind the stage. So you can literally float the river and get out and like come to the, you got to have a ticket and all that stuff. But like you can get out to the venue from the river. And it was probably the second time I saw Whiskey Myers in concert. Have you seen them live yet?
No, and they were just in town.
Oh, dude, this is how strongly I feel about the show. I would tell you, like, dude, I'm buying you a plane ticket the next time they play at Whitewater Amphitheater, because when you said front row chills, like seeing them live, like come out on stage, like it was the most incredible thing. But like I had loved their music before I saw them live, and then when I saw them live at that venue, I loved them even more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's my point. It's just like kind of circling back on like, for me, when you fall in love with a band, yeah, it's probably because I've seen them live in general, but like full band rocking, when you're like feeling your chest vibrate from the bass, and you're like hearing the lyrics, and you're just like feeling them, that was like my most impressionable concerts I've ever been to, I think. And I think, I want to say that year, like Flatland Cavalry even opened up for them, which was cool because it's totally different contrast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that. Like, I love when you can go to an event of like, maybe there's a one headliner and then there's like two other support acts, but all those support acts, both support acts are completely different. You know what I mean? You're getting variety. You're getting a different. So I like that. Like, I love when event planners do that. Like, they put different vibes on one bill. But Flatland, dude, Flatland's great too. It's just different taste,
Yeah. Yeah, they're coming to town too. I should probably get tickets for that. I've been saying that all these Texas guys should come up here, and they are, and it's always like I have something to do or at work. Like Whiskey Myers was up here with Blackberry Smoke, and everyone's like, "Wow, what do you mean you're not going?" I'm like, I can't go. It was like, I'm like, it's 2 hours away, and I'm like, I wake up at 5 a.m. for work, and it's just like, I hate to blame it always on my dog, but my dog, like, I'm like, don't watch them, and I am not responsible enough to go to a show and rock out and be at work the next day. That's not going to happen. I'm just...
You're a big man, dude, because I'm the same way. It takes a lot of courage to admit that, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, no. It's why I don't drink liquor. I can't handle it. I will... I don't... I will not.
I know me. Yeah, I know me. It sounds like you know you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because, like, no one... I'll drink beer, but when I'm by myself and, and no one's talking to you, I tend to partake a little bit too much, and then it's just like, oh, man. I can't. 2 hours away, I can't Uber. I'm like, no, you're sleeping in your car.
Yeah, that kind of stuff blows, dude.
Yeah, but it's... I wish I was a musician. It's like, do stuff like that. But then, I don't know. It's
a hard balance, dude. It's a hard balance.
Like Caitlin Butts had a show. I couldn't go to that, and I love her. She has a great voice. She's awesome live. And like, I see people that I know are there, and they're like, oh, my God, I can't believe you missed it. And I'm just... But I love like, how the Texas guys are coming up. Like I know Muscadine's Alabama, and Lance's Oklahoma, but dude, that place was was packed, and they at Treaty Oak. I was like, "What's everyone singing?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" An entire room in Baltimore, Maryland, singing Treaty Oak.
What?
I was like, "This is awesome." But then I can look over and be like, "Oh, you like Treaty Oak? Do you like Hoetzel?" And the one person was like, "Who?" I'm like, "That doesn't make any sense." I'm like,
What?
I'm like, they're touring right now, and they're like, who? I'm like, I'm like, just follow this account. I was like,
Yeah, just
handing
follow
out
it.
stickers. Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see because like, I don't like this stuff. Like, I didn't like this stuff on the radio. I still don't, and I think there's a lot of people out there like that would love to find like you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's country. It has the song element. Like, you leave with something. That's what I love. Like, you still got your cool guitars and everything, and the lyrics, and you do pull something out. There's substance to your lyrics, your sound. Like, dude, I have been terrible. It's on the She Don't Like Roses, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like it's a heavy song.
Yeah, man. I remember being so nervous when I recorded that song because it's kind of got that. She Talks to Angels. It's like the bam, 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 bam. It does that, and I was like, I remember talking to the producer, and this was 2017 when I recorded this song, and I was like, man, do you think they're gonna come after me, dude? Because it kind of sounds similar, but it's a completely different key, it's different tempo, it's all the other things, but it sounds kind of similar, dude. But then that song blew up, like it's got like it did very well, like it started everything for me. And it was I remember just being so paranoid that somebody would hear that song and be like, oh, that's a ripoff of but it really wasn't, dude. I didn't even know that song when I wrote mine, and I was like, oh, dude, and I heard it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I hear it, but also the substance, the melody, all the lyrics, completely different. Like it's not even the same. I wrote that song on my buddy's front porch. I was like in between jobs, and it came from a time of like I was like going through some stuff, and I put it in a song, and I think that's why it has substance. You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's a heavier song, but I'd like to remaster it. It'd be really cool to redo it. But
Yeah.
that one's started it all for us, dude. That was fun.
Did you just release that as like a single? And it just
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was
took
the
a life of
first
its own?
song ever. Yeah, ever. It was the first one we ever released, and yeah, it's cool, man. Because I remember like it was just our one single, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere, pretty much. We released it through CD Baby, and I remember like checking the stream count like every day, like logging into the back end, and it would be like 2 streams, 10 streams, 11 streams, like. And then one day I logged on there, it was at like 30,000 out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
In a day. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And it just kept going ever since. It was so random, but I'll never forget that feeling because I was like, man, this is wild. Like people are actually hearing this song and people actually like it enough to listen to it again. And yeah, it'd always be a special song, but I feel like, man, like whenever we play it, I'm like, oh man, be kind of nice to put this one on ice for a little bit. You know, like you ever get tired of a song? Like,
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised people haven't like Freebird. People say, I'm like, are you not tired of this 14-minute song yet?
Yeah. Right.
It's funny. We had a show and like I kind of like did it last minute, and I'm looking at the set list, and I saw Freebird on the set list. I just laughed, and it was legit. I was like, oh my God. Because I didn't practice it. I had my in-ears in, and I had made sure I wasn't going out to the board, and I'm like, trying to learn it. I'm like, oh, I can't believe we're playing this. And I said, whatever, man, I'm playing as fast as I can for 14 minutes. What's that? Dun, 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 dun. It's on.
Yeah. Damn.
But what made that song pop and take on a life of its own? Like, did it get like radio, or you just have no idea? You just
Man,
look?
I think we just got because it's got over 1 million streams now. Like it's been doing. I mean, for me, it's been doing really well. But I don't know what it was. I shared it, and I think a lot of it had to come with the fact that it was the first song I've ever released, and like people didn't really know that I was doing that yet, and so like all my friends found out, and they're like, no way, dude, that's so cool, man. Like share it, like it was even cooler then because it was the first time. But man, we got playlisted for sure. I know we got playlisted for sure. I don't know how. I never pitched the song. I never knew how to do any of that. It just ended up on a editorial playlist, and this is 2018, I think it came out, but I didn't even know anything about that, like playlisting or like how to pitch a song or any of that. So it was just wild. It was just really cool.
Yeah,
now I do that. I try to do that every single time. Now I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know the recipe, but yeah, it's like I still like someone called up and said, "Hey, how much do you charge to be on your playlist?" I haven't updated them. They're kind of spotty. The Apple one's a little bit better, but the Spotify and whatnot. And he was like, "Yeah, people make a lot of money managing playlists." And I'm like, "Oh, I've been doing mine for free." I was like, I'm adding his song as we're talking. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're on there." And he goes, "That's cool, but I'm just saying, like people would pay." And I'm like, "Listen, man, if there was money to be made on this, I have no idea because I haven't made really anything." Dude, I'll tell you, I made enough to get a guitar pedal, and I was so excited. And then I got four violations. You can only get 5 in 30 days. I'm like, what is going on? Like, come on, man. Like, it's an overdrive pedal. It's just, it was nice to be like, because it takes a lot of time. Well, dude, the social media it's intense. Man. It's an entire, like, there's nothing worse than when you do something and you were clever and you put it up there and it gets 232 views and you go, I spent all that time. I yelled at my friends for no reason.
Yeah. I bled for no reason. I freaking cried for no reason. That's how whenever I write a song and it like doesn't get seen, it's like, well, cool. Slap myself in the face.
Yeah, dude, that's I hate that. Like, I hate seeing that. It's just, like when people ask, they're like, "What's the one thing you wish you could do?" And I was like, "Be like one of those like tapes, Like it was at one point, man. I would do a video, and that video would get like 70,000 views in like 20 minutes, and people would be like, "I love this. Yeah. Let's give me some more." And that was fun. Like when I was finding that I loved like the Texas country scene and the red dirt and all that, and other people were like jumping on the train, and it was just like, let's go, man. And I feel like it's still like that. It's just not as, man, like once you get a taste, once like when you look at those numbers, you're like, you don't want to see anything less. You always, give me more.
Yeah, it's like a drug, dude. It's a freaking drug.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah. And it doesn't really have any mental harm.
Yeah.
At least you might not sleep. You might not sleep at night. I don't know.
I was gonna say, oh, dude, I've been there. I'm a numbers guy. I can't add them or subtract them or divide or multiply, but I know what they mean. I know the value of them, and I obsess about them. Like when we released an EP, and I was like, dude, I got to make a viral video. So like, I made a video of me eating chicken wings with like super hot sauces. But the end of the video, I took my EpiPen and put it in a chicken wing and ate it.
What? What?
I have never got so much backlash. People are like, "You could have gave that to a sick child."
Oh my God.
I'm like, first off, I bought it. It's mine. Like, insurance didn't cover it. It's mine. It's expired. I would never put this in my leg. I tell you what, I'll eat it. I'll eat it if you listen to my music. And it didn't do. I just
I'm
remember.
about to say, did it work at least, dude? Did it?
No. No.
Damn, dude. Because they say there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Oh, it was bad. I've never experienced so much negativity in the comments and the DMs because it was on Facebook. So it was like my name, and it was like, I'm like, oh my God, these are starting to get personal.
Oh, shoot.
Because at the time, I'm like, dude, I've never seen anybody do that. It's crazy. We're gonna see 1.4 million when I wake up, and it's like, it was like not a lot of views, but 10,000 comments of people trashing me. I was like, yeah, this is how Nikki Sixx ate wings in the 80s.
Yes. I would have loved it, dude. If I would have saw that video, I would have been keyboard warrioring for you.
Your family calls you up. What are you doing? Did you Google what could happen? I'm like, I didn't.
No, that's the fun part.
I just remember being like, man, I feel like I gotta run right through the drywall. And like, it was funny. Like if I was promoting my own music, it's like, now that I kind of know like how the game is and how it's not, but still, it's like, it's a whole entire thing. Like when you're sitting with your band members, and it's just like, what should we do, guys? Because like, it is a way to introduce your music to people. And it's so easy, especially if you have an artist account, to click the sound. Oh, I like that. And if you have it set up through TikTok, you can add it right to your playlist. It's so simple.
Yeah.
And it's not like how the radio, you gotta like write it down. If people even still listen to radio, and how you would have to like, it was a process. Now it's just so simplified. But
we've been getting a lot of Shazams.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I can see on like my back end, like of like, whenever our songs are released, like we can see how many Shazams, how many times that one song has been looked up through Shazam or whatever.
So they're hearing it somewhere. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's cool because it might be like on a loudspeaker at a bar that somebody's just hanging out in, and they're at happy hour, and it comes on, and they're like,
yeah,
hey Siri, what's this song? So that's cool to kind of see that stuff. But yeah, I can't imagine. Like back in the day, bro. It was like you listen to the radio and you're like had to call the radio station. Yeah, what was that song I played about like 305? The one about the dog in the truck.
Yeah, like it's crazy. I mean, people right now are listening to your voice somewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What up, y'all?
Huh?
I said, what up, y'all? What up to the listeners, man? I hope you guys like the nonsense. Listen to my music. It's much better than my nonsense I'm talking.
Oh, that's fun. Well, is there anything you want to talk about? Or I know you said you wanted to do an hour.
Oh, man. Actually just my phone's dying a little bit. But no, I'm bro. I am just super excited for all the new music, and man, I just really appreciative of you putting us on, or you putting me on country versus metal and stuff, dude. Like that stuff's really, I've seen a difference, in followers and stuff. So it's really cool to have the support, man. Like it's just it's really cool to finally get on here and chat about just stuff. It's fun. Talk music, talk Amish, talk AI, talk all this stuff, man. It's cool. So I appreciate you, dude, for real.
Yeah, man. Dude, thanks for hopping on. And it's funny. It's like, I do listen to the podcast, and I like the interview, but I've been finding like, I got questions in front of me, and I just feel like it's more fun to have like a conversation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That, and like you say, like we were talking, like, did you think you were going to talk about Amish listening to Tupac?
Yeah, no, dude, that's the freaking beauty of it, man. Like, and I hate, like, I love structure, like, the day of a show, but if it's anything else, I don't like structure. I like to just, and it drives some people crazy. Like, it drives my girlfriend crazy because I'm the most laid back, whatever kind of dude. And I feel like it's better for me on a podcast because I'm not good at these. Like, I'm not good at interviews. I like talking, but I don't know if it always makes sense. So, to your point, like, just you get stuff out of it that's like so unexpected. That's such gold. Like, I'm just listening to Tupac, dude. That shit.
They might listen to this.
They might listen to this too.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Ben Thaniel. Keeping it real. Tell your horse that blanket looks beautiful.
Your horse blanket. Hell yeah.
Oh,
good shit,
funny.
Man.
But yeah, man. So you got to bounce.
Yeah, man. My phone just chirped at me. I'm at like 10%, so I don't want to lose you. I'm hooked into this iRig thing, and I think it drains my battery because I was fully charged when we started.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I had one.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on, and I hope the album really does well, man. And have Whiskey Myers open up for Trent Cowie.
Maybe one day, dude. I'm really excited. I got a song coming out August 30th, in like a couple weeks. Good time. So I'll send you that one, dude, and that one's a fun one. But yeah, man, I hope so too. And if it doesn't, man, I just love playing music every day and making new friends. So we'll keep doing it. So
that's a great attitude. But yeah, man, thanks for hopping on.
Hell yeah, brother. I appreciate you, man. Much love.
Yep, I'll see you.
All right, man. Peace.
Later.